Hello and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show where we show you one cool thing which we are testing out here in the PC Mag Labs. I am Sasha Sieg and this is Tom Brandt. If you are watching us live on Facebook, then please participate in the discussion, ask questions, make comments. Social Pete here will read out your questions and comments to us. We will have a dialogue. If you are watching us later on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We have a new One Cool Thing every day, and if you want to participate in the discussion, consider coming over to Facebook, the PC Mag page, 10 a.m. Eastern on weekdays. Today we have a laptop that I've been thinking it's all about its inner beauty. This laptop is all about if you want something that is really about what it is inside as opposed to outside. It is the Asus ZenBook UX331UN. And Tom, what does this thing do?
Yeah, so the reason that it has a beautiful inside is because this is one of the few thin, light, and cheap laptops that has a discrete graphics processor.
And of course, that means that this thin and light is going to have massively better graphics performance than a lot of the other thin and lights we've shown off on this show, right?
Yes. Now, before you get all excited though, this is not a gaming laptop. It has a massively better graphics performance than something like this without an integrated GPU. But just because that's the case does not mean that the baseline that you're starting from is so low. So I just want to make it clear that if you're just joining us, this is an amazing value for what you get, but don't expect to play ultra quality games at maximum resolution.
Okay, so let's start with the price and start going down the basic specs of this Asus laptop.
Yeah, okay, so $999, there's only one configuration that you can buy in the US, and that comes with an Intel Core i5 processor, 8 gigabytes of memory, and a 256 gigabyte SSD. Now, those are really good specs for $999. I think that if you stopped there, that would be a good value for an ultra-portable laptop.
But wait, there's more!
But it also comes with an NVIDIA GeForce MX 150 graphics card with 2 gigabytes of memory. This is a graphics card that we've seen before. It's not something that's typically on someone who's into the radar of someone who's into gaming because it's not a 10 series graphics card, but it still does great on our performance test, which we'll get to a bit later on.
Okay, so this screen, how big is it? What's the resolution?
Yeah, so 13.3-inch display, fairly standard. Full HD, glossy touchscreen, again, fairly standard for if you're shopping for a laptop like this, you've probably seen those specs before. It has, I think it's actually, the downside to the screen is that it's very glossy and reflects light.
It's super reflective from this angle, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, this is one of the more reflective glossy screens we've seen. On the other hand, it's very bright. I'm not sure exactly what the specs are on that, but when you're looking at it with the bright studio lights, you see glare, but you also can see the details of the screen fine. So
let's walk around. I like to talk about ports. Let's talk about some ports for a minute. On one side here, we have a USB-C. Is that Thunderbolt? Doesn't look like it has a bolt.
No, there's no Thunderbolt. There's only USB-C.
Okay, so USB-C, USB-A. There's an HDMI out.
Yeah.
On the other side, we have a micro SD card slot for your another 400 gigs of storage.
Sure, right.
We have what looks like, there's headphone jacks? Oh, no, that's a power jack.
There's a regular power jack.
Asus, headphone,
yeah.
USB-A.
Yeah, Asus has not, at least on this model, they've not moved to the USB-C charging.
So now, since we're still on the outside of this laptop, before we get to the excellent performance, let's start talking about some of the downsides in the body. Yeah,
so as you can see here, there are lots of fingerprints on this, and it was cleaned recently. So that should tell you all you need to know about that. There are two color options. The one we have here is the blue color. You can also order it. You can also order it in space gray, which I would highly recommend because, to me, this dark blue shininess It's just, I don't know. It mainly serves to show off your fingerprints. I don't really like the
And
color.
I just have to say, I am not that greasy, okay?
Yeah, no.
I am no more greasy than your average human.
You'll have to take our word for that, but no, that's generally true. And then, as you can see here, there are more fingerprints on the touchpad. It's also it's not glass, but it's very it just tends to collect oils. So yeah.
Show us that flex.
All right,
though.
now we get to the main attraction here, which is the unfortunate main attraction, which is that in order to make such a thin and light computer, only weighs 2.5 pounds and costs $999. They have this really cheesy keyboard deck. There is significant flex. Even if you're just typing, even if you're not a forceful typer, you will notice it bounces.
Yeah, this is one of the flexiest keyboards I have seen on this show. I could say ever.
Right, and actually, while you were holding it up, while you were supporting it with your hand, it was less flexy. But when you put it on the table, there's even more flex because there's that gap between the bottom of the laptop for cooling. The other thing about it is not only does the keyboard have flex, the touchpad, which is otherwise very good, also has lots of flex. So anytime you click it, your hand will go down into the desk.
Typing on a trampoline. Let's take some questions.
We got a gaming question, of course.
Yes. So
why don't we go
gaming.
to those? Why don't we go to those graphics benchmarks?
So yes, to the person who commented on that, you may have missed earlier. I said this is not a gaming laptop. However, if you are satisfied with playing even very intensive games at medium quality settings and lower resolutions, this laptop, as you can see in our performance charts, will do very well.
Yeah, as you can see here on the somewhat more stressful Heaven benchmark, we were getting 45 frames per second at 13:7.
Yeah, and basically anything between in the 40 to 60 range is really good. And actually, I got 58 frames per second on the second medium quality benchmark, which is really good. Anything higher than 60 frames per second is kind of useless for a basic display like this because it doesn't have a refresh rate that can display that. So if you want a really thin and light laptop, and you occasionally want to play games, and you're not really, you don't care about the resolution that much. Maybe it's just to log on quickly, play a game, and then leave. This is a great option, I think.
Yeah. You just have to, once more, as these benchmarks show, you have to be aware of the very differing performance at these different resolutions. Ultra quality, you're down to 15 frames per second. That's not acceptable.
No, you can't. Yeah, right. So if you're playing at full HD resolution, ultra quality, it doesn't work. But, and again, those results show you there's a massive difference between putting an MX150 in here and having the integrated graphics. You're getting double, and then on the 3D Mark test, which is really taxing, you're getting more than double performance.
Yeah.
But the baseline again is so low. So just to be clear, this is not for someone who wants a good gaming experience. It's for someone who wants a thin and light laptop and wouldn't mind an additional oomph in terms of graphics.
Now let's go to those. Let's go to the processor benchmarks here, where we can see that this is basically an 8th gen Core i5. Let's talk about the battery a bit.
Yeah, it's fine. So performance is good, nothing to write home about, but it does have excellent battery performance, and I want to get technical for a minute here. We review laptops in their default configuration. This default configuration does not have the NVIDIA control panel installed, which means that the system decides when it uses the integrated GPU versus the discrete one. It has both, by the way. And so basically what I think was happening was it was running all of these apps on the integrated GPU, which saves tons of power, which is how it got 12 hours and 20 minutes of battery life. You will not get anywhere near that if you are playing a game or using the GPU in any form.
So this battery life comes out as quite good on our rundown, but you would put it more down in the range of that other ZenBook and the Dell XPS 13.
Yes,
in real daily use.
Right. I mean, if you are actually taxing the GPU, you could get 8 hours or less. But the 12-hour figure comes from watching videos, which, that's what many people need. If you're on a 12-hour flight, you'll have videos the whole time.
Any more questions out there?
So with benchmarking, is there for batteries? Is there one like a standardized test you can do just to see like how long a battery would last for a game?
I wish there was.
There is no. This is.
I
something,
wish there was.
This is something that we've been struggling. We've been struggling with on every team at PC Mag. There is no standardized battery test. Period. There is no. The ideal battery test would run down a range of common uses until the battery runs out.
Yeah.
And there is no industry-wide standardized way to do that. Everybody who tests batteries has generated their own hacked-together custom script to test batteries, and so everybody comes out with slightly different results because nobody's using the same tools.
Yeah, and so that said, though, know that your battery results will be often completely different from the ones both that we found and the ones that Asus themselves advertised in their results. So the only consolation that you can have is that yours will be completely different than anything that you see printed online.
We use a video rundown because mostly because it taxes the systems. It's relatively easy to do. You can do it on everything, so you can get relatively consistent results across a wide range of devices. For instance, as I was looking at battery tests for phones recently, because every year or two we update all of our tests, I was finding that the battery benchmarks out there almost all run on some phones but not on others, which isn't terribly helpful if you're trying to compare a wide range of phones against each other. So our test is designed to run on as many devices as possible.
Short answer, if you are watching a video, you will get relatively these numbers. If you're doing anything else, you will get completely different results.
Yeah, and we're sorry about that. So we are rating this laptop here 4 stars.
Yeah.
What's the editor's choice right now in this range of thin lights?
Yeah, so we gave an editor's choice to a version of the Razer Blade Stealth that came out almost 3 years ago now. It came out in 2016. That was like the last no-brainer wow mid-range ultra-portable that we found. There just isn't, for this price, you're always going to have compromises, and the laptop is fine. But we didn't feel that we could give it an editor's choice just because the typing experience, which is a big part of using a laptop, is not great.
So it's kind of, there's no $1,000 thin and light that sets itself way ahead of the others in the pack.
Yeah, and that's because the pack is so large. I mean, you know, if you're shopping for something like this right now, you probably know this, that the decision making is really difficult. The one thing, though, that if you want that graphics performance, I think that this, you know, if you strip away everything else, this would get an editor's choice just for mid-range graphics performance, because there aren't any other $1,000 laptops that I know of that I would want to buy that have an integrated or that have a discrete GPU. The MacBook Air certainly doesn't. That's the Mac equivalent.
And has that been updated since like 1998 or whenever last time that was updated?
And so that's also pretty old. And then the XPS 13, the most recent version, I don't believe can be ordered with a GPU either. So so really, you know, there is no one size fits all, which is why we didn't give an editor's choice. But if you're going to be, you know, not typing that much, I would go with this one.
Okay. So this is the Asus ZenBook UX331UN, a relatively rare ultra-portable at $1,000 that has integrated graphics and therefore double the graphics performance of most other ultra-portables in its range, as long as you are okay with typing kind of on a trampoline. This has been one cool thing from PCMag.com. Thank you all for watching. If you're on Facebook, please return at 10 a.m. tomorrow Eastern for another cool thing. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Come back to PC Mag's page on a daily basis. Every day we'll have another cool thing for you.